got to play Dice Town. So this game is a press your luck. Well,
there's dice.
There's dice.
Yeah.
You roll them.
You roll them.
In town.
And do stuff.
And you do stuff with them. But
that's in town.
Yeah. But before we get into that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because we're awesome and you want to hang out with us again. Robert, tell us more about this particular game.
So there's several different versions. There's 2 different versions of this game. They're both out of print. So sorry to hear that. But they're available on the geek market. Dice Town, the original, and this one here is 2009. They did do a revised version. I think it came out in 2017, but I couldn't confirm that. But Board Game Geek gave it a 6.9, placed 2 to 5. The designer, pretty famous designer, Bruno Cathala, and Ludovic Montblanc. Artist is Piero, published by Matago. MSRP, again, is originally out of print. I found the revised version for sale for $44.99. And there's quite a few expansions as well. We played with one of them.
Oh, cool. All right, so quality of pieces. So you have plastic golden nuggets.
Yeah, they're not real gold.
They're not real gold. They're plastic, and I think these are very similar in a lot of other games. You have the bullet-esque rolling hiding bowl.
Hi-ho!
You've got paper money, which it's printed on both sides.
Not only that, but it's not like just regular paper. It's textured.
It does have some texture.
It's better than just plain paper.
Yes.
Despite what Randy says about paper money.
I still hate paper money.
Yeah. Card.
Because he's snob.
Yeah, card quality. The cards actually don't have any lino finish, but they seem pretty thick. And then you have specialized dice with the different Joker.
These are just standard poker dice.
Oh, okay. Is that what they are? Poker dice?
But they're good dice, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're okay. And then you have this other cube, red, with stickers.
Yeah, it's
got
stickers.
to apply them, yeah.
Yeah, was this part of the expansion?
Yes, that was part of the expansion.
So it's already a negative in Randy's point. If it's got stickers that you have to stick on it.
Yeah,
well, that and the cards that came in the expansion were curled.
Oh,
so
really?
I tried to flatten them.
Oh. So the cowboy card or the bandit cards?
Well, the river cards, you can see they're still
they're
curled,
definitely curled.
even though I shuffled them. But there was some that went into each stack. The bandit cards were part of it, but there was a few that was added to each stack.
Yeah.
That's not
I mean, overall, as far as quality, I'm probably going to give this a 6.5. Is there anything spectacular? No, there's a few cool pieces, but nothing even that great. What do you guys think?
I think 6.5.
I'm probably more of a 6. I think it's probably. I mean,
the Bulls.
Well,
I think the Bulls give it a half a point.
But like the Liar's dice is the exact same bowls. Cups.
But we haven't reviewed that yet, so you can't compare.
I mean, yeah, it's got cups.
They're hide your dice.
I got cups in the cupboard, so
I give it a 6.
Okay, what do you think?
I would agree that it's about a 6, a 6.5. It's right in that area. It's there's
you can do
quality,
6.25.
I like that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
6.25.
That's
wow,
that's a
Miranda.
Miranda.
Your tricks.
Yeah. Hey, that's mine. What are you doing that for? So let's talk about overall theme. So you definitely got the poker element that you expect to see in a Western. Mm-hmm. There is some theft involved.
There's a lot of theft involved.
The mechanics really push the theme in this game. So I think that's where it really shines, is the mechanics are very
you
thematic.
earn stuff and then people take your stuff. I'm not a fan.
Because they're jerks.
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure they didn't have paper money at that time. It was more coins.
Banknotes, right though?
There were,
did you live back then?
I personally did not.
Oh, okay.
But,
but they did have banknotes.
They did have banknotes,
which is the paper.
When those totally look like banknotes. Totally. I don't know who's on there, but I'm sure he lived there.
I think it would have been more thematic to use coins or something else.
Yeah.
This would have actually been perfect for me, right? By poker chips, actually, because it goes with the theme of the game.
So why didn't we?
I don't know.
I mean, they're right.
They are literally right on the other side of the camera. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself.
I'm a little disappointed in you too.
I'm shocked and amazed that we didn't have them out. I think it's because there's only once, maybe. But
I think this is a heavily themed game. I think.
No, I agree.
This is. I think it's a 9. I mean, thematically, it's right there. Now, gameplay wise, maybe not, but thematically, it's strong in the force. So, yeah, strong
That
in
doesn't sound
the
Western
Western
at all.
Force. The Western Force.
Okay.
It did. Yeah, it wasn't holistic. It didn't have all the aspects we've seen, like
Right, and that's why I didn't give it a
in
10.
Paloma or
Right.
But I think it is strong in theme for what it was. There was a lot of stab in the backery.
Yep.
I like the fact that the sheriff could take bribes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really cool. And
Some of the cards are kind of funny.
yeah,
I like that.
they did incorporate land in the sense that you're trying to get victory
Yeah.
points from land. So yeah, I'm probably more of an 8 on theme, but I think it is pretty strong theme.
I'll concede to an 8.
You didn't think it was that high?
There's a lot of good elements in this. It just took all the parts of the Western that I didn't like. So for me, it's not that
Right.
it wasn't there. It's not that it
You just didn't
wasn't
like
good.
no parts of it.
It's just
What parts do you like of the Western? Riding off into the sunset? That would have been the most uninteresting
Well-
game ever.
well, no, I think
She's
it's
gone again.
for the West. It's like the building of the town, defending against the town. You know, like I don't know. I'm just and I don't mind poker. It's just this. I don't like games where you steal stuff. Okay, let's
Wait a
all
minute.
just be honest.
But yet you
I knew
won. Because everyone was afraid to steal from you because they knew you didn't to steal stuff.
Because
And they're both
revenge.
Yeah, and they're both into revenge tactics. You steal from Miranda, I'll steal from you. All of
And-
yours.
but
I
yet-
didn't feel any of that from
Yeah.
them.
No,
I don't know what you're.
But
I don't know
yet,
what you're
not
talking
at
about.
all.
You had no problem stealing from me. Nobody picked
No.
on Miranda. So obviously one of us is less intimidating than the other one.
No. Here's the thing, though. As sheriff, though, I did make a lot of deals. Hey, don't go after me, right? Like I was nice, and I gave, and
Until you stole my gold.
I stole 1.
That's a victory point.
Okay.
And so I -1, you +1. So
Right.
That makes a difference.
And that let me win against Corey.
And right.
So-
Randy, not Corey. I was
Yeah.
second.
He only was 1 shy of me. He was 44.
I was 44.5.
You can't be 0.5. You can't get half a victory point. So in
and,
other
and
words,
and she was the sheriff, so she picked the tie. Corey.
so Corey came in second. So it's just I don't like that take
Right.
out Phil, and I did play very defensively on the trying to appease everyone, trying not to get hey, don't steal from me, steal from him, and trying to be nice and playing
Not
that
that
out.
she'd ever do that either. Convincing other people to steal from other people.
I totally would.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you stealing from me. So if I can throw somebody else under the bus, go right on ahead.
So what do you think, Kevin?
I think I would say it's probably about a 7.5. There's reasons I don't like the there was banknotes and stuff back then, but this feels very modern as far as the style of money that there is. And I don't know. I didn't.
What if we had a
I'm
bowl
hung
of,
up on
what,
that.
What if we had a bowl of
But,
pills?
but I'm also hung
Do
up
you want
on
it
the
to
fact.
be deteriorating?
I'm also hung up on the
What?
fact that this is a game where you're playing poker, but winning the hand doesn't get you that much closer to winning the game. I would have to say I probably won most of the hands in the game, and I was the one with the least amount of points. So
I think I had less than you did. I had 19.
yeah, you did have less than me.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is a very valid point because we were playing poker, but it wasn't that strong.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, and I think I realized that midway through the game, I didn't care about winning the in hand.
Right.
I cared about getting gold and getting money,
Mm-hmm.
and then every once in a while getting a general store card. And I actually started abandoning my kings, queens, and
Mhm.
aces because they really didn't have any value. Everyone else was going after them, so that left me be able to go all the mine route and all the money route, and so that really let me take the lead midway through because I was flailing at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to get in touch base in a little bit of gameplay, so we're going to step back a second.
But thematically, I think that because you're talking about a Western game where you're playing poker, and because that's what the main mechanic is, and so I just felt like that kind of felt a little flat.
And
so
the other-
I'd say something.
And I think that's true, but then also the point of there is no dueling in this. Like when you
Right.
think about Westerns, and I think that may be missing when we're talking about that kind of theme play out. Yeah, you're stealing from each other, but there's not that Wild West duel moment, right? And that's what you typically kind of think about when you think about Westerns. And so I do think as a Western feel, there was a couple of missing components. And so I very much agree with your 7.5. It is pretty strong. It is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it is definitely missing some elements.
Right.
So moving on to rules.
So the rule book, it's definitely translated, and it's definitely got some issues with translation and typing. There's words like the
So it
sentence
wasn't
where
edited well.
Well, it was the words that were just left out of sentences a lot was the main thing. There was one sentence that just absolutely didn't make any sense whatsoever, but the context of the paragraph, you could figure out what it meant. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of typos, a lot of that kind of thing. But
Was the expansion book just as bad?
not as bad, but there was some of it in the expansion. The rules are pretty short and they're pretty simple, and they actually have really good examples along the way with nice cartoonish diagrams. They go into a detail what each space does, and it's all done on a single page fold. So it's not a lengthy rule book. There's actually more length in the expansion than there is in the main game. So yeah, I mean, as far as the rules, I'm probably gonna give it a 6 because it's an easy game to pick up and learn. It took me like 2 minutes to teach you guys, so it's not hard at all to pick this game up. But the rules themselves do need some rework and looking at them, at least considering the translation, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
So moving on to gameplay. So basically everyone starts out rolling 5 dice. They roll it in the cup, they hide it, and then you kind of peek in, and you can choose to keep 1 dice for free. Now, you can choose to add more dice by adding $1. So you can pay $1 for each additional dice you want to keep. Or you can decide that you don't want to keep any of them and pay $1 to do that as well. So depending on the dice that you end up keeping is depending on what you're going to go to battle for each time. So the gold mine, whoever has the most 9s gets the choice of one of the 2 actions at the gold mine, which is either taking the number of 9s that you have. So if I had 2 9s and someone had 1 9, so my 2 9s, I could choose to get 2 gold, or I could choose a card.
Well, before you go too far, you're going to keep doing that until you get a hand of 5
Right.
cards. So you choose your die, but then you're going to keep rolling until one of the players at the table has a hand of 5 cards, at which point everyone else is going to get one more round to roll their dice, and they get to keep everything for free that they get, but they got to keep their die roll.
One thing I'm kind of thinking that was amiss is that the person that got the 5 and that everyone else got an extra round, I think they should have gotten a small bonus. Because they lost an extra roll there. I mean, not for any, but they should have gotten...
They got the bonus of determining their dice. The other people are just taking the luck of the draw because they have to roll and keep whatever they get. So you've got a much better chance of getting the best poker hand.
But at the same time, if you're paying, $4 to find out your hand fairly early, I think there should be a small bonus in that. So I feel like by triggering that, I don't know. I feel like that could have been added, but that's just my my thoughts around it. So once you get your 5 dice, though, but then you go across the board. In the gold mine, you either get to choose the card or the number of the 9s that you get in the gold.
And what we should say is that's with the expansion added. If you play the base game, you only have one choice at each location.
I will say I would not play this without the expansion.
The expansion makes it so first and second both get something at a location.
This game, I do not see it without that secondary action.
Yeah.
I think the game would be quite boring.
Well, I think it would make the dock bad luck have more functionality if you had it where you didn't get one. But because it adds a 6th player in the expansion as well. And I think that's why they added it, because they were concerned that too many people would run out of things.
But even then, at the same time, when we talk about some of these secondary actions are kind of crappy. So even if you got 2nd place, I'd almost rather have a dock action, right?
Or the secondary action was better. I mean, I like the secondary action for the jack because you either get the general store, or if you got the right dice, you can do the dock action for and that's being able to, one of the actions is being able to do barbed wire lands or kind of protect your lands that you got. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think what I was kind of getting at is the fact that, you know, not all actions are equal in this game.
For sure.
Yeah.
And kind of crap. I don't know. I just did not like the.
Not all locations were equal either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that was intentional because the better your dice were, the more chance you had of winning at the town hall, which meant you had less basically benefit as you went. You know, like the 9 was really powerful because you got free victory points from the gold, or you know with the card you got potentially that too. You know, so it gave you a lot of victory point potential.
I don't feel like it was balanced in that sense, though. Like,
No, I think there's a strategy of just staying over here in the 9s and the 10s.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think there is, but I think there's a lot of victory points to be had in that land.
Absolutely.
No,
So
but I mean, you can
I
let people
felt like
fight it
there
out,
was,
though.
There was no runaway leaders here. I mean, it was close.
I was a
between
runaway
all of us.
loser.
Well, no, I mean, but the thing is,
Felt like
I
I was
didn't
a
find
little
that
too.
strategy until midway through. If I had gone out of the gate with that strategy, knowing to focus on 9s and 10s,
46 to 19.
I-
That's a runaway loser.
Yeah, I was at 22, so I mean, and
Yeah.
I was
Three
winning
of
my
us, three of us were within a point, so there's.
well, I mean, no, but I you know, honestly, I think there are some sure strategies with this, which, you know, with your critique of Zolkin and other things, I think you should critique this the same
Oh,
way.
I am.
So I definitely.
You're still bitter about Zulkins when it
I
comes
am,
down
just
to it.
No, but I think it is a very accurate point. Like, there are games when I come across, I'm like, this is the winning strategy. Once I figure it out, I'm kind of done with the game. And,
Right.
I hate to say this, I'm kind of done with this game. If I don't play this again, I am okay. You know, if someone pulls it out, sure, whatever. But this is not something I'm going to want to revisit.
I think I would like this more if it was quicker. It took a long time to
It
play.
did take a longer time.
Yeah,
And I think it was a faster game than I think I would
It's
have
supposed
liked
to be
it more.
30 to 45 minutes.
It was. I mean, even this really wasn't even a learning game because it's so quick to pick up, and it's a long game,
Yeah,
and it's not that good for that long of a game.
Yeah,
I agree.
definitely.
I think it was shorter. I mean, if it was only 35 to 45 minutes, I think it'd have been a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that this game is a long investment. You don't get it, you know, you don't get your investment out of it.
You don't get your return out of the investment.
Yeah, and I think there's some serious balancing issues.
Yes.
You know, and like I said, if I don't see this game again, I'm not going to cry about it.
So.
But
I was okay with it though. Overall gameplay, I still was okay.
yeah, I
with
mean,
it.
it's not bad. If
just
someone's like,
not
I
great.
really want to play this, I'll be like, okay, I will play it. You know, but I do think that, you know, there is a winning strategy to it. But we're talking about this and we haven't even finished the rules. So let's go back. All right, so you have the 9 action. So the 10 action is basically you either get to take all of the bank money or the number of 10s that you have that amount of money out of the stagecoach, which is what people paid that round to modify their dice. And then when the round ends, to keep their dice. And when the round ends, that money goes back up to the bank pool. So the bank pool can actually get pretty hefty if people kept choosing from the coach because they had a large amount of 10s. That actually didn't honestly happen. We spent a lot of money.
Randy got a big chunk of change.
Oh
at
yeah,
one
I got
time.
a lot. That's
Oh,
how
from
I.
stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first couple rounds, not that first round I did because you start with the bank starts with 3 money, so you didn't get a lot there, and they're.
No, I'm not talking about the bank. I'm talking about the
No,
stagecoach.
I got most of my money from the bank.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The bank adds up. The stagecoach not so much. So the stagecoach is a
The most you could get would be 5.
right. Well, and I think as a secondary price, that actually kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like I'm okay with that being the secondary price. Then you have the general store. The general store, you get to, if you have 3 of the jacks, you get to take 3 of the general store cards. You get to keep only 1 of them and put the rest away, or discard the rest. And then the other action is to come over here and do what are these called?
The Doc Bad Luck.
The Dock Back Luck, which depending on the dice you have, equates to different actions, and we'll talk about that when we get towards
But the
the end
general
of the
store
board.
cards are either going to give you an immediate benefit or a card that you can keep.
And I think that's maybe where some of the
conditions.
I think that's
Or
where some of the
there's victory
balancing.
points.
I think that's where some of the balancing issues are because some of those are really powerful and some not very powerful at all.
But then you get to draw multiple cards and choose the one you want to keep.
I understand that, but it's like it's still.
I mean, it wasn't
No,
as bad as Dune Imperium.
No, I agree.
No,
as far
I
as
agree.
that.
No, but I drew 2 cards. I drew one. Okay, so I drew 2 cards, kept 1. Both of them were absolutely useless to me Randy stole it, thank goodness, because I wasn't going to use that. And then the next one, same thing happened. It was a crap card. And then I end up winning with one. I was like, what the? But then those were really powerful. They were worth a lot of victory points. And I was like, this is so random. Because at first I was like, this general store is worth nothing. I'm not going to go here. Why waste my turn in action? But then it ended up paying out. And that was really kind of weird. It doesn't seem equal.
Yeah. It seemed odd to me that those items equate up to more points than land. But
well, they're harder to lock. You can't lock one of those cards.
That's true.
So it's easier for someone to steal them.
And that's true. I get that. It's just that, to me, that felt a little imbalanced.
It was heavy luck based of what you got. And
honestly, that was my favorite part of the game.
Really?
Because especially, I mean, the one I stole from you was one that lets you double the steal action. I stole it. Kevin stole it from me, and then he used it back on me, and to major benefit for him, and screwed me big time with that card. So I like that.
And earned the revenge of you for the rest of the game.
I mean, it was a great play, and I loved it, and I got my vengeance.
But anyway, going on.
But so that. Anyway, so then the next action is your
the saloon
queens, and so it's the saloon. So basically, you can either pick up a wanted poster, which allows you to change two of your dice to a particular face, depending on what the card is, and then or you can take the action of depending on how many queens you have, you can steal that many cards from another player, but you can only keep one of those cards. So basically, you get to pick the best of their hand to a point. So that's the queens, and then you move on to kings. So the kings, you either get to choose to be sheriff, which the sheriff breaks the tie. So if there's a tie, they get to decide who wins the tie.
And the advantage of that is you get to bribe them.
Yeah, and not only that, though, but people can bribe the sheriff to make a decision. You just said that.
I just said that.
I know you did. I don't know why I repeated it. It just seemed like I
should have bribed her.
It's
then
such
she
a
wouldn't have said
good
it.
point.
No, listen, I was going through a flow, and you broke my flow. Okay, so, but then the other action is that when you use wanted cards, they get flipped and go to the sheriff. So the other action is you get to roll how many ever king dice you have to try to get the wanted posters. Most of the posters range from I think 5 to 7.
3 to 5.
I think it was
3 to 5. 3 to 5. I thought I saw 7. But the thing is, it's for every 2 monies a victory point in the end. So kind of, it's like they're worth 2.5 victory points, right? Which is not very heavy compared to the other things. And then you have the town hall. So town hall is strictly who has the best hand out of the dice, but with the caveat of how many ever aces you have is the extra amount of land cards you get if you were able to win. So, for example, someone ended up with 5 aces at one point, but they didn't win anything, but they did get 3 land cards. So, so there's that piece of it as well. So there's stuff you can do around that. And then finally is the dock actions. Honestly, I used this once during the whole entire game, so I'm not very familiar with it. So if you have the 9s and 10s,
you get the barbed wire.
You get to barbed wire 2 pieces of land, and then which basically the barbed wire protects your land, so people cannot steal it. So you actually lay it face.
Unless you play a special
Not
card,
exactly
Randy.
true.
Only if they're ranch.
One card in the entire deck, and it only lets you steal a ranch.
And
Right.
you got it.
I got it. Yes, one time.
Right. And then for your Jackson Queens, what is it?
You get to take a general store card.
Yeah.
The kings allow you to steal 2 money from each player. And
That was
then
kinda
the aces allow you to steal gold from each player. And Miranda did the money thing a couple times.
No,
Randy did the money a couple times.
I did not do the money thing.
And you
I
did the
might
gold.
have done
I only
anything
did the
a
gold
couple
once.
times.
Corey
Well,
did the
a
money.
lot of money got taken from me, and gold was
It
taken
was
from me.
Corey and Randy.
And they're all jerks.
Yeah, Corey and
I
Randy.
don't disagree.
So, yeah.
They are jerks. So is there a lot to do in this game? Yes.
But there's not a lot of strategy. It's all luck.
Oh yeah, but it's a poker
There's-
game. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's strategy with the luck that you get.
I did not hate this game. So what would you score?
Come back to me.
All right, so I'll score first. So I thought it was fun. It wasn't a lot of fun. You wouldn't have to twist my arm like for you to play it again. I would play it again, but I just wasn't too impressed with it. So I think I would give it a 6.5.
I could take it or leave it. I go with a 5, just medium.
Okay.
The thing is, I was thinking 6.5 to 7, but I liked the game. So the fact that you're giving it a 6.5 while you're sitting there belittling the game, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7 then, because I personally think it's not much higher than that. But I do like the mechanics of this game, and I really enjoyed the general store cards. And I like the fact that I felt like it was balanced very well, and making that, because I felt like the lands, I was afraid the lands were going to be uber powerful, especially if you got aces and could take all 3 of them at once.
Right.
And it wasn't that way, because like while Miranda, Corey, and I all came really close, we all had completely different strategies. Corey was very land heavy strategy. I only won a couple of the hands at the end of the game. But in the beginning of the game, I didn't win anything. I had no land. I had to steal land. That was my only chance of getting land. So I stole most of my stuff. So mine was focused on stealing and, basically as a protective measure so people didn't steal from me.
He always claims that.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, especially once I got land, because after Kevin took my best property, and then you took my horse, which was my best other card.
I did not
No,
such
I
thing.
found a Robert. So I had to try to protect it. So the last few rounds, I just collected queens just to make sure I
to protect
take it away.
After he had already done some of that stuff to us.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, that's just it. I try to stay out of it. Yeah.
No,
That's why I
no.
try to stay out of the whole taking stuff from people. 'Cause
Well,
then
and your
you know-
strategy of being Switzerland actually paid off too. You won.
Yeah.
So I mean, but the reality is I just didn't have much fun doing it.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
was your score? You said
I'm
7.
going to settle on a 7, I think, since you gave it a 6.5 reluctantly and made it sound like you really didn't like the game at all.
I didn't say that. I just said it was meh.
I
play it
think,
again.
given the fact that I liked the game all right, but I didn't think it was great, I was going to be at a 6.5.
I mean,
until
I
you
ranked
said
a
that.
higher Catan. I would play Catan before this.
Why did you rate it that
Because there's more elements to it than Catan. It's just,
Sure.
there's a lot more to it. So there's more, I mean.
But at the end of the day, Catan is better than this.
I agree.
I
I agree.
I definitely don't.
And
I mean,
for
not
that-
base Catan. Now, if you talk about cities and knights, then that's a different score than a 5. So
I think a 4.5 because Catan is better.
Really?
I had to do it based on it. Yeah, there's some elements, but the reality is, if someone said Catan or this, Catan, that's not a second hesitation. Base Catan, fine, I'll play it, whatever. This, no, man,
And Randy, that's okay.
yeah, it's good for her. We all do wrong.
Well, we had fun, guys. At least heckling each other at the very least.
Oh, yeah.
And we hope you guys did too. So hopefully you'll come see us again. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Wow.